Hi everyone, back again. Today I'll be showing how I stick the binding on the Red Special guitar body. This is a piece of ABS plastic binding that I shaved down in size. In the previous video I showed how I did that. So I shaved it down to about 5mm, and eventually that'll probably come down to about 4.5. And I've pre-bent it approximately where the cutaway will be, so it'll be easier sort of to manipulate and get it stuck down in these tight areas. So what I use to glue it down is acetone from the hardware store. This chemical here literally melts the ABS plastic down into the binding, and you can actually chop bits of binding up and make a paste out of the acetone and use it to fill any sort of gaps that you might need to. So I've got a bit of acetone in this little glass bowl here. I use these brushes. Here's one that I trimmed down with a pair of scissors. Here's another one. I buy these from Stuart McDonald supplies in the US. And I'll have this brown paper tape, which is specially made for binding. And the reason why I use this is it's quite strong and it doesn't stretch, and it's less likely to snap when you're pulling across the body of the guitar and trying to stick hold the binding in place while the acetone dries. So I'm going to go ahead and start. What you do is you brush acetone in the channel. Now you got to move pretty quick because this stuff evaporates really quickly. So what I do is put that in place, brush it in there, and you'll notice it starts to get really sticky. It'll immediately sort of start sticking. It sort of welds itself in place. You want to make sure the binding's in there, and you push down because you don't want to pull the binding out of the channel. Push down and pull it across, and you want to work ahead. Push down and really, it doesn't matter if you go crazy with the tape. It's really important that the tape's doing its job in holding this binding in place. You can really flood that acetone in there. This binding can be quite stubborn, especially in this thickness. Get right in there. Right in there. Push down. It's amazing how quick this starts to melt. And acetone really evaporates quickly, and it's pretty volatile. It's quite flammable. Well, actually, that's an understatement. It's very flammable. I must admit, this takes quite a lot of practice. To get good at it. It just requires a lot of patience. Pour a bit more in there. See that? It really started to pull away. So keep dabbing it in. It really pays to get a tape dispenser. You don't want to be tearing little pieces and sticking into your bench. You get a tape dispenser, because this is all about being organised and prepared. You can really saturate it if you want. Be quite liberal with your application. Because acetone's quite really such a thin chemical, it really flows into the little nooks and crannies. You don't need much. A little bit of acetone goes a long way. Some people, I think, might super glue this into the channel. I've never tried it. You can buy specially made binding cement from StewMac, but I'm pretty sure they do not ship it overseas. So I can't get it here in Australia unless someone Luthier Supply sells it. I know a friend of mine uses super glue, which works for him. I prefer to use acetone. I like acetone because the cleanup is minimal. And it doesn't leave a lot of mess when it comes to scraping and sanding the binding. It's really good. Get right in there and whoa. In this area here, And I'll really get it in there, hold it for 30 seconds or so. Cut this back. It's good to have a bit of a, just check over the areas you've gone over, make sure it's right into the channel. Almost there. There you have it. That is right in there. Now, I leave this overnight, at least 12 hours to dry. So I won't touch this till tomorrow afternoon. At the moment it's 9:37 in the evening. It seemed to have stuck really well. Just be careful when you peel the tape back that you're not peeling the fibres of the mahogany veneer out. Be very gentle. I wouldn't leave this on for any more than about 12 hours. So I only do one side at a time. Tomorrow, I'm running out of time tonight anyway. Tomorrow I'll do the back. So far I've done the top. I'll trim these back later. If there are any small gaps, you just mix the acetone, offcuts of the binding, turns into a paste. You get the paste, put it in any little gap you might have, wait for it to dry, and you can sand it back, scrape it back. And once it's all sanded and painted and all that, it just looks like one solid piece of binding. That's come up pretty good, if I must say. That's about it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.